Choosing a career feels overwhelming, not because people lack ability, but because they're taught to approach the decision in the wrong way. Two common assumptions make the process far more stressful than it needs to be, and quietly increase the risk of long-term regret. One is the belief that there is a single perfect career waiting to be discovered. The other is the idea that once you choose it, you're meant to stay on that path forever. Together, these beliefs turn career choice into a high-pressure, all-or-nothing decision. In reality, there is a more realistic and flexible way to think about careers, one that's grounded in research, human growth, and the understanding that change is not failure, but part of the process. The myth of the dream career. Ask a teenager what their ideal career is, and you'll often hear a confident answer: doctor, engineer, lawyer, athlete, creator. At that age, the idea of a dream job feels simple and clear. But fast forward 10 years, and many of those same people feel stuck, confused, or quietly dissatisfied. The problem isn't that they chose wrong. The problem is that they were answering the wrong question. Most people are taught to believe that passion alone should guide career decisions. If you love something enough, the thinking goes, fulfillment will follow automatically. But passion by itself is unreliable. Enjoyment is often temporary. What excites you at 15 is not guaranteed to energize you at 25 or sustain you at 40. A career that truly fits goes beyond passion. It also depends on personality, values, competence, financial reality, and timing. Ignoring any one of these factors makes long-term satisfaction much harder to achieve. This is where frameworks like Ikigai often enter the conversation. What Ikigai gets right, and where it confuses people. Ikigai is a Japanese concept roughly translated as a reason for being. In career discussions, it's commonly represented as 4 overlapping circles: what you enjoy, what you are skilled at, what you can be paid for, what the world needs. Where all 4 overlap, we're told, lies your ideal career. This framework is powerful because it explains why people can feel dissatisfied even when things seem to be going well. Someone may love their work and be good at it, but feel financially stressed. Another may earn well and contribute to society, yet feel emotionally empty. Ikigai gives language to these tensions instead of pretending they don't exist. But despite its strengths, Ikigai is often misunderstood. Many people assume that the goal is to identify all 4 elements in advance and then choose a career that perfectly satisfies them from day one. That assumption turns Ikigai into a puzzle that feels impossible to solve, especially early in life. The problem isn't Ikigai itself. The problem is the belief that you are supposed to figure it all out before you begin. Why what you love is more complex than it sounds. One of the most common mistakes people make is confusing momentary enjoyment with deeper alignment. Watching a TV show about doctors, lawyers, or entrepreneurs can make a profession look exciting, meaningful, or glamorous. But those representations are fragments, not reality. Loving a career is not the same as liking an idea of it. Real love, whether in relationships or work, develops through exposure, challenge, and understanding. It includes aspects you don't enjoy, but still accept because the overall alignment feels right. In careers, what you love is shaped by your values, personality, tolerance for stress, preferred work style, and the kinds of problems you find meaningful to solve. These things can't be discovered through imagination alone. They emerge through experience. This is why simply following your passion is risky advice. Passion often forms after competence and exposure, not before. What employability research reveals about careers. Research and employability, the study of how people find, adapt to, and thrive in careers over time, offers 2 insights that fundamentally change how we should think about work. First, careers are not fixed paths. They are evolving trajectories shaped by opportunity, learning, and context. Second, you are not a fixed person. Your interests, values, and priorities change as you gain experience, face challenges, and learn more about yourself. When people ignore these realities, they feel pressured to make permanent decisions based on incomplete information. That pressure creates anxiety and discourages exploration, even though exploration is exactly what leads to better long-term alignment. Think about how different you are now compared to 5 or 10 years ago. Your tolerance for risk, your definition of success, and even your identity have likely shifted. Expecting one career choice to remain perfect across all those changes is unrealistic. When the right career stops being right. Many people look back on past career decisions with embarrassment or regret. But this reaction misunderstands how growth works. A career that fits you at one stage of life may stop fitting later, and that does not mean the original choice was wrong. It means you changed. A profession that once offered learning, challenge, and meaning can later feel restrictive or misaligned. Leaving it is not failure, it is adaptation. What matters is not whether a career remains ideal forever, but whether you continue adjusting as you evolve. This pattern is far more common than people realize. Jeff Bezos began his professional life in finance before launching Amazon. Arnold Schwarzenegger moved from bodybuilding to acting and later into politics. J.K. Rowling worked as a secretary before becoming one of the most successful writers in history. These are not stories of sudden discovery. They are stories of experimentation, recalibration, and persistence. The career you're looking for is built, not found. The idea of a single, hidden dream career waiting to be uncovered is appealing, but inaccurate. Careers are not buried treasure. They are constructions. A fulfilling career is something you gradually assemble by aligning what you enjoy, what you're good at, what creates value, and what supports the life you want at this stage of your life. That alignment will shift over time. And that's not a flaw, it's the entire point. The people who feel most stuck are often not those who chose poorly, but those who stopped exploring. They remain in roles that no longer fit because they believe leaving would invalidate everything they've built so far. In reality, every experience contributes information. Even paths you eventually leave behind sharpen your understanding of what works for you and what doesn't. What actually matters when choosing a career? You do not need to have everything figured out. You don't need to know your lifelong passion. You don't even need to know exactly what you want to do next. What matters is momentum and reflection. Seek diverse experiences. Try roles that stretch you. Pay attention to how different environments affect your energy, motivation, and sense of meaning. Notice what drains you and what engages you, even when it's difficult. Challenges are not obstacles to clarity, they are the source of it. Over time, patterns emerge. Skills compound. Interests refine themselves. Opportunities become clearer. Financial preferences become more realistic. And slowly, alignment increases, not because you planned perfectly, but because you stayed curious and responsive. Alignment is a lifelong process. There is no final answer to the question, what is the perfect career for me? Because the question itself assumes permanence where none exists. The better question is, how can I increase alignment between who I am now and what I do next? That process doesn't end. As long as you continue learning, changing, and growing, your career will evolve with you. And if you stay engaged in that process, actively experimenting, reflecting, and adjusting, you are far less likely to wake up one day feeling trapped in a life you outgrew without noticing. A fulfilling career is not a destination. It's a practice. And the journey itself becomes the point. If this changed how you think about careers, take a moment to pause and reflect on where you are right now and where you might allow yourself to grow next. Careers aren't found overnight. They're shaped through awareness, experience, and small, intentional choices over time. If you want more videos that help you think more clearly about work, life, and long-term fulfillment, like and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.